Launch. I'm your host, Roberto. I'm really excited to be here today. I like to do interviews with content creators and other designers, and today we have with us Pauline Kong and Marie Wong, and we're going to be discussing the upcoming Kickstarter Steam Up A Feast of Dim Sum. So, first and foremost, thank you for spending some time with me today to talk about your upcoming game. But before we get into your game, how about we introduce yourselves a little bit more as to a little bit about your journey and how you became board game designers.
I guess I'll start first.
Yeah.
My name is Pauline. I'm one of the designers of Steam Up. And my love for board games started just a couple of years ago after I retired from Magic. And then I started playing with my friends. And then one day we were thinking, oh, it would be a great opportunity to have our own game on our own Kayla shelf as well. And then from playing, that's how I started to do designing our first game.
Yeah, hello. My name is Marie. So, Pauline kind of introduced me to board games a couple years ago, and I was doing magic with her. I was her assistant, and then it kind of started there. We grew from our 2x4 KLX shelf to I don't know how big it anymore.
4x4. No, that was like 2 4x4 shelves.
And that's how it.
Her house and then my house.
Yeah, that's how it all started. And then we started designing Steam Up.
Yeah.
And that's how it go from there.
So before we even get into the game, all right, Pauline, when you said Magic, I was like, oh, you are a professional Magic the Gathering player. That's what my mind went to. You performed Magic on stage?
Yeah, I did. I used to perform perform and produce like Vegas style magic shows in my local area in the community, and then it started to grow really big for like a small just me and her team, and then we were like, oh, I think it's we had a good show. I think we should move on with something else.
Okay, that's so cool. That's a cool story. So at what point did you introduce Marie to board games then?
I think maybe a couple of months later, because
after our show,
right? And then
which is at least like 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah, 5 years ago. Yeah,
that's awesome. And I'm curious to know if as designers, do you focus more on games nowadays? Because me, I collect more than I play now. But from what I understand, designers they're so focused on. Or are you also so focused on designing your own games that you kind of forget to play? Not forget, but you don't play other games because you just want to play your game and just get it just right.
Well, we were playing games until playing games until we started designing, and then we don't really have a lot of time to play games anymore, actually. And it's more like collecting than playing now. I think after the Kickstarter, we're gonna spend more time on
playing
games.
Awesome.
And catch up on the games that we haven't opened up yet.
Yeah, we have so many games in the shelf of shame right now in trunk.
Man.
I can't wait to play more games.
Awesome. I have several games wrapped up in shrink wrap. I'm just looking at some right now. I'm just like, ugh, just staring me down. Anyway, let's hear more about Steam Up. It's Steam Up, A Feast of Dim Sum. Now I love food. Love me some dim sum. How did you land? Oh, you got the box. Yes. How did you land on this theme?
Just previously said, we were playing board games, usually at my place because I usually have the bigger table. And then, one day when we were thinking, oh, hey, it would be nice if we create our own game. And then we were thinking, oh, well, what kind of theme should we do? And then on my table, I happened to have like a dim sum drawing that I drew as a childhood, because back then the teacher told us, oh, draw your favorite food. And then I just drew dim sum. And then that's how it started. And we were like, oh, hey, there's only not that many games about like a dim sum, and it'll be great to be able to educate others, or like to be able to show others a culture that we grew up with and very familiar with, and share our love for food and a board game together. And that's how the theme started.
That's cool. That's real cool. And how did you get into design. Well, you have the theme came first, and then
Mhm.
the game design, everything, all the elements came afterwards. Then.
Yes, that is correct. Initially, we start off with like going through like what kind of mechanism we would like
Mhm.
because we quite like the worker placement game, and then so we were thinking, oh, maybe we should do a dim sum game that's a worker placement. But then over time, it started to become like a different game called Overcook, and then we were like, why don't we go back to the basics of dim sum and what does dim sum have? And then we were like, well, it has the turntable where it turns. So then we started to do it as a set collection where you try to eat as much like the certain type of combination of dim sum to fulfill your character, and then you can only eat within your feast zones, just like real life. Like you don't go across the table and grab someone else's food, or you have to rotate the turntable in the restaurant to actually get the food in front of you before you eat it.
Like I said, that depends on how well you know the person you're eating with. Because I kind of take my son's food maybe sometimes. Like if he's not gonna eat it, I know he's not gonna eat it. I'm like, that's my food. I will eat that for you.
Mm-hmm.
That is such a unique mechanic. That is awesome. How many iterations of this of play, or how long did it take to perfect this game? This game looks so cool.
I would
Yeah.
say we started designing this game since November of 2019, and then afterwards, all the in-person started until it started from then until like
For a couple months.
for a couple months, and then we had a pretty like basic like it can playable game, and then afterwards, of course, the COVID came along, and then we couldn't attend in-person conventions and playtesting groups, and then so we had to convert this into like a digital version to continue playtesting to make it as solid as it is right now.
Okay. It was an interesting point that you made about going into a game called Overcook. So Dim
Mhm.
Sum turned into a game called Overcook, but then you stripped some things down to go back to Dim Sum. Is that correct? Did I understand that correctly?
So basically, like at the beginning, we were designing this game as a work placement game, but it
Yeah.
looks too much like the video game Overcooked.
Oh, Overcooked.
Yeah. So So we decided to go back from the original, like go back from zero, basically, and then basically we design the whole game now, and then now there's a turntable in the middle, and then you put steamers and dim sum on the turntable, and then you try to collect as many dim sum as possible. Yeah.
Okay. How did this game start off? Was it with like we have your core, your dim sum drawing. Did you go from that to drawing out cards, or was it a full board? Did you know you wanted to have a turntable, or did that kind of come in later?
I think it kind of come at the very beginning already.
Yeah.
And
then so at that time we had to cut and like use cue cards as cards, and then just sleeve it and then just change it when we don't like the certain card. And then for these steamers, initially we actually got a little bit inspired with Azu. So then we used the Azu boards as the circle to pretend to stack them, and then the Azu tiles as dim sum. So
That's awesome.
yeah, that's it. And then we start using those components and then just trying to build around it.
Yeah, after the game kind of come together with all the mechanics and stuff like that, we started designing, adding a little more graphics in there. We asked our friend Jose to create some of the bamboo steamers. Not the bamboo, but it's 3D printed right now. But in real life, these are bamboo steamers. Yeah, but it's plastic. It's gonna be plastic. And then we also asked him to design all the dim sum for us too for 3D printing.
Okay.
So that's how we make our prototype.
Okay. I am a sucker for components, and with your Kickstarter, you those are going to be bamboo, and those are going to be other things within the game, or these are just prototypes now, or are they going to change? I'm sorry.
So the steamers is going to stay in plastic. I don't think we can manufacture bamboo steamers. That would be awesome though if we can. And then these squishy, like these dim sum are supposed to be squishy when we manufacture, so similar to the Everdell berry or the tidal blade berries. Yeah, but right now it's just on our prototype. It's just 3D printed right now.
Awesome. So what part of this game are you most proud of when you look at it as a whole? You're almost at the start of your Kickstarter campaign. Is it 4 days or something?
It's on Tuesday coming.
Next week.
Tuesday
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Super
what are you most
excited.
proud of? Right. Exactly. Yeah, you should be. There's so much time and effort put into this game. What are you most excited? What are you most proud of this game that you've created?
I would say the turntable is like what I'm proud of, and actually going through this journey from designing the game and like being able to publish it and putting it on Kickstarter is what I'm proud most. How about you?
Yeah, I think every time I hear someone saying that, oh, I learned something from this game,
Mhm.
or it reminds me of actual dim sum in real life.
Mhm.
That's kind of, it makes me happy to hear that the game actually teaching someone about dim sum,
Mhm.
or remind them of dim sum that they used to go with family a lot. So yeah, this game, I think it's something more than just playing, right? You
Yeah,
kind
it's experience and being able to, have a nostalgic feeling for those who already know dim sum, and something like a new adventure for them to find out, oh, what does it taste like? Because now I have the game and I know a bit of the culture. Maybe I should go give it a try. Like
Right.
not much people have like Phoenix Claw in real life. So then now they can go and try, so they won't be scared now.
of.
That's wonderful. I'll probably try and get some dim sum later today. Now that we're talking about this, is making me a little hungry.
Mhm.
So you have this awesome, fantastic journey, and you're teaching us something. This beautiful cultural experience that we're going to have on our tables. What did you learn on your journey from designing all the way up to this Kickstarter? As far as
Uh,
designing a game or illustrating, or was there anything new to you, or did you kind of did you do a lot of the research beforehand and you're just getting into it?
Everything is new to us, I think, from
yeah.
designing.
Okay.
Well, for me, it's a little easier because my daytime job is related to design too. So,
Okay.
so designing board game have a very similar process than my daytime job as a designer. Um, so I'm more familiar with play testing and iterating, designing, improving on the game, and then continue play test and go for all the graphic design and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But Pauline, you're completely new to the process, right?
Yeah, I guess designing is a new thing, and also like publishing as well. So then I took this time to try to understand her point of view, like the graphics side, and then my most strength is to be able to bring this game into people's hand as an in-person experience, as well as digitally, to be able to teach them and to be able to grab different kind of feedbacks and to do more on the engagement side as well, and be able to get feedback and to work on it and come up with like better ways to make the game a little bit more solid.
I think for ourselves, or for manufacturing wise too, we're new to it, but I think we absorb so much knowledge from other people and from doing our own research.
Right. Yeah.
That we're pretty. I would think as a first timer, we're pretty familiar with the process now. But then, I guess I can come back to you after we actually manufacture, and then I can let you know if this is accurate.
Yeah. Like, and another thing to point out is like during this. So once we finished the design, the publishing route, like I had no clue on where to start, and then good thing, like there's like people like Jamie Stegmeyer, or like James Math, or like off the page Jay Cormier, and like Gaming with Edo. Like there's a lot of resources out there to be able to give us like the basic foundation to like kind of guide us the way like indie publishers how to become as successful as them.
Yeah, there's also a lot of people that help us too, given they help us in like voluntarily. Like even if we didn't ask them, they will actually approach us and see, oh, do you need help with anything? I actually have a lot of resources or something that if you need anything, just ask. We can answer. So thanks for everybody that reach out and help us so far.
That's what I love about this community. We're just I feel like it's filled with so many great people, and they're just willing to help and at whatever it is, because we want to play your game. Game designing, that's not something I'd ever be able to do, and I admire people who are able to bring a wonderful experience to the table, so that way I can play it. So thank you for bringing this. I'm gonna be backer. I'm gonna be one of the first 100 backers. I promise you that.
Thank
I
you.
saw. I'm like, I'm gonna back this so hard. It's gonna be ridiculous. We had you had discussed a little bit about, or went over the play testing and how that was a challenge because of the COVID year. Fortunately, I saw that you were on with Maple University and you were able to bring your experience of the game onto, was it tabletop or was it BGA, Board Game Arena?
TTS, so Tabletop
Yeah.
Simulator.
Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah.
Awesome. Would you say that was difficult putting it on to TTS?
Well, it was a very kind member from like the board game design. I think that's where we met, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
His name is Alexi Menardo. He's like the master of like TTS and like a master of like scripting and all that. He reached out to us and then be able to, transform our game into TTS. It was amazing.
Yeah, our game has a lot of stacking and turning. So with like with the basics of Tabletop Simulator, we weren't able to put their games online. It requires actually a developer to add like programming and stuff like that in order to put the game online. So luckily we met Alexi, which helped us create the mod, and it was amazing. I would just say it was amazing. To see our game to actually be able to play digitally, and it definitely helps a lot for us to play tests and even on the marketing side of things, it helps a lot when people actually see the game as resembles as closely as possible with the real game on just by looking at it online.
Right. I asked you that because one of the things I did want to ask was, because this was a challenge that presented itself, and you overcame it. It looks great online. Was this one of the bigger challenges that you had, or is there something a little bigger, or is there something that really pops out during the whole development process that you thought, wow, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get through this, and then you did?
I think the balancing of character is pretty challenging.
Yeah,
because we do have 12 different character boards.
It's all asymmetric, right?
Yeah, so each have a little bit of each have different abilities and the scoring system. So I don't know how many times we play each character.
And plus there's a combination because this game can play between 2 to 5 players. So then we have to do, like 2 players, like 2 different characters, keep playing that. And then 3 players and then different combinations. So then up to 5 players. So that combination quite alone is like a lot of play testing and balancing.
Yeah. And how has the feedback been with the playtesting from others?
There was good and bad ones. I mean, at the end we got a lot of good feedback where we were able to go back to the table and to be able to make it into a little bit more better. So for example, like initially we had a lot of a tick-that mechanism, actually just in the fortune cards itself. And then we were able to cut that down, and then also we made it as an optional play where you can actually just remove it. There's a star at the very corner of the card where you can just remove it. Now it's around 6 cards, and then now it's more enjoyable for both types of gamers. So
okay. Looking at those illustrations, I was actually wondering, is that representative of the Chinese zodiac?
Oh yeah, the characters. Yeah. So there's 12 characters. Each character it's a Chinese zodiac. Yeah.
Awesome. I noticed that, but I didn't want to assume that, so I had to.
It's something that we kind of. It's more like a Easter egg kind of thing. We want to add it. We don't want to focus our game on Chinese zodiac, but then at the same time we kind of want the presence of it in the game. So that's why we decided to use the Chinese zodiac, but we don't mention it very often until
people play it. Because we don't want people to think it's a zodiac race. We want them to focus more on the dim sum experience.
Yeah,
so absolutely. And I mean, dim sum it's culturally Chinese, correct?
Yes. It is from, I think historically from Guangzhou and Hong Kong.
Okay. So it would make sense to have the Zodiac, the Chinese Zodiac
Yes.
characters on there. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. It's a fun little Easter egg. Um,
There's your little meatballs.
within making this game or designing this game, have you found other games that you may put out in the future?
Sorry. Oh, is there any games you want to put out in the future?
Yeah, I think our intention for this our team is trying to create Asian Asian themed games to be able to
Awesome.
educate others about the Asian culture. So that will be the route that we'll be going.
Yeah.
to.
So in the future, we are of course thinking. It depends on how Steam Up is successful. We might have expansion of the game, but then at the same time, we do want to approach other Asian themes too. To it could be us designing, it could be someone else designed. We might, work with other designers to work on a future game. We don't know yet, but that's our goal, to just bring more Asian themed board game to everybody, to all the tables out there. Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you already have something in mind?
A little bit, but nothing really solid yet. So
Okay.
yeah. I won't say anything.
Don't spoil too much.
No spoilers. I like it. So we have dim sum, and moving forward with games that you want to design, then the Asian culture is what's going to inspire you to move forward in the board game industry, and that is so cool. I love playing personally. I love playing games where I can learn something, as well as having a great time. And it sounds like you cultivated that in this game of A Feast of Dim Sum. So again, I'm really excited to play this game. Let's talk about the Kickstarter. Are there stretch goals?
Yes, the game, the Kickstarter itself will have stretch goals. It's mostly we're focusing on like the upgrading the components. There won't be really much change in the gameplay, because we think the gameplay is very important and it should not be altered too much.
So we could have a bamboo. We could have a bamboo piece, right? Maybe.
Maybe.
Get a cool upgraded or wooden thing. That would be really cool.
Yeah, we want our game to present as is, like even if without the stretch goal, you can play the full game, right? So we don't want to, hide any of the gameplay. Like although we don't have a solo mode, but very often we find the stretch goals are like solo mode is within stretch goals, but it's not something that we want to aim for. So all the stretch goals are mainly just upgrading components. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And how has marketing been, as far as, because you're really close, your Twitter is on fire. You've had, I see y'all on YouTube. How's the marketing been so far with your game?
It's starting to pick up. Actually, I think 8 weeks ago, we were actually at one point like not having many followers, and then so we start picking it up, doing a little bit more engagement, starting Facebook ads, and like so now it's starting to pick up. I feel a little bit more confident to be able to launch at next week.
Yeah, we started a Facebook ad. We have a website, landing page. I think Pauline do more organic kind of posts on different groups, trying to get more people, trying to get more attention from people. And then I think from then it started to spread out. Like people start to spread the game more, and then that's how we got to know our game. And we also went on the local newspaper.
Yeah, that helped a lot
awesome.
too.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Well, I'm excited for this campaign to start. It's going to start on Tuesday, you said? Was that the 19th or the 18th?
October 19th at 9 a.m. PDT.
Excellent. So I got to set my alarm for noon then. Perfect. Where can we find you online?
You can follow us at hotbananagame.com. That is Hot Banana Game without the S, because someone else took the S.
Curses.
Yeah, and any of our social media at Hot Banana Game.
Excellent. Cool. Well, thank you for spending some time with me. Speaking about this, again, wonderful game. I'm excited to play it. Steam Up. Look for it on Kickstarter on October 19th. I feel like we're going to do this again. I'm excited to chat with you both again. But until we do, happy gaming.
Thank you.